you play ball. It's all the big moments, bat flips, and amazing plays from an exciting week of baseball and tips to up your game. Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network.
I love the Boys and Girls Clubs because they help you believe that you can make it to the big leagues.
Big leagues of what? Law. Art? Construction? Baseball?
How'd you guess?
With the help of Major League Baseball, the Boys and Girls Clubs of America help kids make it to the big leagues of anything.
The acclaimed series that brings our national pastime to life, now in high definition, Baseball, directed by Ken Burns. Revisit an exciting time for the game as the M&M boys make a remarkable run at Ruth's home run record. Friday at 8 Eastern.
10 great reasons to watch, 10 great reasons to debate. Don't miss MLB Now's Top 10 Second Baseman right now.
Tonight at 8 Eastern.
Welcome back to the Wednesday installment of Hot Stove presented by the General Insurance. Tim Hagerty is the voice of the El Paso Chihuahuas baseball team. He's been a minor league broadcaster for a long time. He has written of baseball history for just as long a time. And he's got a new book coming out in March called Tales from the Dugout, 1001 humorous, inspirational, and wild anecdotes from minor league baseball. And Tim is something of an authority on that stuff, working in the minors. We welcome Tim Hagerty to the Stove. Tim, congrats on putting this book together, man. Great accomplishment. Thanks for sending an advance copy to us. It's a lot of fun. I want to know how much of this is actually observational stuff that you witnessed or lived, and then how much of it by percentage was stuff that you had to research? Because I'm sure a lot of this stuff is your own.
I'd say out of the 1001 stories, about 20 are games that I saw in person. I've always loved research, and it goes all the way back to the 1800s. But as far as some of the highlights of games I've called over the years, in 2007, I was broadcasting a Mobile at Montgomery game, and Mobile's pitcher, Matt Elliott, was so upset after allowing a home run that he slammed the dugout bathroom door. It jarred the lock, and he got locked in the bathroom and had to leave the game because of that. There was a bathroom delay, and I'm trying to fill time on the air, wondering why there's no pitcher on the mound. So that, of course, is in there. And in 2015, here in El Paso, there was a between-innings wiener dog race, and there was a rogue wiener dog that ran all over the field. That delayed the game as well. So there certainly are some that I saw in person.
So, Tim, the rogue dog, was he not in the race, or did he just come out of the stands because he saw his kind down there?
So the dog was in the race,
okay,
and they were set to go in this slot along the third base line. I'd say 4 out of the 5 dogs successfully went on that path, but this one decided he wanted to make a right turn and run towards second base. So I remember Oklahoma City players running around trying to corral this dog.
Well, El Paso is a place, Tim, as you know better than anybody, that it's like the perfect minor league city in that it's always had ownership and promoters running the teams that have thought about the fan experience. And I know when I was there in the early 90s, the owner of the team, the legendary Jim Paul, used to have quarter hot dog days on Sunday, where you would have a car drive up to the main gate, buy a quarter ticket, go inside, buy $5 worth of quarter hot dogs, and then leave well before first pitch. It was just a way to get a cheap meal. Give me some more El Paso stories, technically, the stuff that you've watched.
You're right about Jim Paul, and by the way, I still always hear your name here. You are remembered fondly here, Matt. But Jim was a legend for that. There was one that Jim Paul put together in the mid-1970s where he decided to break a world record and have the world's largest banana split. So they had pounds and pounds of ice cream and whipped cream and bananas and strawberries. And between games of a doubleheader, they invited kids from across the city to come participate in this. So you can imagine hundreds of kids each being handed a free spoon and just covering themselves with ice cream as they set the world record for largest banana split.
Also known as a COVID super spreader event, long before that terminology was out there.
Hey, Tim, give me something out of this book, because, I want to tell these possible readers, go get this book, because if you have a little bit of an attention problem like I do. I'm not quite like Al Leiter by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm flipping through this thing and they're really quick little blurbs, which keeps me engaged for that for sure. But give me something out of there that we know we will never see again coming forward here in our minor league baseball world compared to what you found in doing a little history.
Well, I can tell you these days in minor league ballparks, the lighting is very good. It was not in 1978. It was a Double-A Eastern League game. Bristol is at Jersey City, New Jersey, and there were some big names in this game. Wade Boggs was playing for Bristol. Ricky Henderson was playing for Jersey City, and a fly ball disappeared. It was early in the game. A right-handed batter hit a high fly ball to right, and the ball vanished. It didn't go over the fence. It didn't land on the field. It didn't go in the stands. It was not a foggy night. It was a clear night. And I know this sounds crazy, but I'm telling you guys, I talked to players who were on the field. I talked to a fan who was in the stands. I got to email Wade Boggs about this, and they all described it the same way. A fly ball disappeared. So the umpires get together, and understandably, they don't know what the rule is when a ball vanishes, and they decided to give the batter a double.
And that was it? Nobody ever found out the true outcome of that batted ball?
The players, to this day, the ones I speak to say they do not know. There were rumors there was a kid behind the right field fence holding a ball, but it turns out that was not the game ball. That was a different ball. So there's precedent now. If this season in the major league somewhere a ball disappears, it's a double.
Wow. You know, so much of the fun, and you capture some of it in your book with these 1001 little micro tales. So much of the fun is not innings 1 through 9. It's the bus ride on the way to the ballpark. It's the bad facilities that used to exist back in the day in the minors. You've already alluded to the lighting. You know, bus rides, hotels. Did you have a lot of stuff that you couldn't use for reasons of better taste?
For sure, yeah. This is not a book that has scandals. You know, anybody that would be embarrassed by a story in this has long passed. There's some fights with umpires. There's a player that threw a small firecracker at an umpire, but that took place in the early 1900s. So, yeah, this is not the type of book that has scandals or saloons or anything like that. But it's funny, you mentioned the hotels and accommodations from way back when. In 1956, Abilene was traveling to Corpus Christi for a road trip there in Corpus Christi, Texas, and all of the hotels in town were taken. So the manager didn't know what to do. So he made some calls, and he found a county jail that let the players sleep in jail cells for the night until they were able to find a hotel the next night.
And I think from all of our experiences, there probably would be a few county jails that would be more comfortable than some of those minor league hotels. Hey, Tim, if you have a minute, Harold Reynolds is on the phone. He has one of his serious journalistically applied questions for you. Here we go. HR, good morning. You have a question for Tim.
How did you come up with the title?
Oh, come on.
That was from Cider Mill Press. That was their decision. And I think they did a great job with both the title and the design. Those parts of it did not have anything to do with me. So thanks, Harold. Good question. That was a publisher.
Once again, Harold, it's not a very cryptic title. The book is called Tales from the Dugout.
If I was a writer, I'd be dangerous.
Yeah, we know. All right, Harold, see ya. Thank you. Sayonara. Tim, we appreciate the visit, man. The book is out in March, Tales from the Dugout. 1001 tales. It's a great, easy to digest read, as Bill mentioned. We appreciate you being on with us, man. Congrats on this. Good job.
Appreciate it, Tim. Good luck.
Thank you. Great to see you both again.
All right.
You probably have a treasure trove of stories, not suitable for family reading, I would imagine, many of them.
Some of them. What's interesting, too, I have a couple thoughts, though, and I want to get to a story, but one of my thoughts was back in yesteryear, you remember when it was the game of the week on TV and they did the 7th inning stretch, like the characters of the game. I'll just say this. The characters in the game that get to the big leagues, they got nothing on the dudes that are in the minor leagues. Because there were some characters beyond characters, probably knowing they were never getting to the big leagues, so they were living their life, shall we say, to the fullest in a lot of different ways. One story was interesting. I remember I was 19 years old. I'm playing in Hagerstown, Maryland, and I was talking to my brother about going on a road trip. And he said, well, who are you rooming with? Because we always had roommates back in the day. I don't even know minor leagues. They might get their own rooms anymore. But I said, Glenn Dooner. And he goes, Glenn Dooner, is he a submarine pitcher? And I went, yeah. And he goes, I faced him in '81. He was with the Richmond Braves. So Junior's going up in '81 in AAA. I'm playing in 1984 in A-ball. And Glenn Dooner's my roommate. So he had lost some of the stuff, but he could still get some people out. And there's a purpose to have guys like that that could compete and make your team better in A-ball to develop prospects.
Yeah.
But I remember going on the road trip because I got you when we get there. And I think we went to Winston-Salem. And you stay at the Motel 6 or whatever it is. There's a Waffle House, there's a Wendy's, there's some other fast food place down the road. After the game, when he said, I got you, we had gone to the grocery store when we got to the hotel. So we go out after the game with all the stuff we bought. We had a little mini fridge in the room. He opens up the bus, and there's this Atlanta Braves big plastic heavy duffel bag. He pulls out a grill, lighter fluid, charcoal, the whole 9 yards, aluminum foil. We prepped everything for our meal on the other side of the bus, watching our teammates go down the street to Arby's or whatever it was, Wendy's. They would finish eating coming back. And we're out there with B&M brick oven baked beans in an aluminum foil boat that he doctored up with barbecue sauce, chopped up onion. We were doing chicken breast on the grill and everything else. And I'm a 19-year-old kid. Here's a 26-year-old dude that's got a little bit of know-how.
He's like a grown man to you.
Grown man. And we're sitting there eating like that the rest of the road trip, where we would go to the grocery store, pack the cooler, because he was 26, he could buy the beer. I couldn't at 19 because that's the way the age was back then. I missed it by 6 months. But I sit there and I remember stories like that. And the players thought we were nuts for doing it because they would all come back full and they were already done eating. But I'm sitting there and I'm going, I'll never forget it. He also taught me that the warm beer that's left over in your hotel room takes 6 minutes with the slush bucket treatment. The ice and water, the proper amount, 6 minutes, and we're ready to go again if we want.
You can rehabilitate that warm beer.
Yes, in a 6-minute process. But I remember stories like that, and you run across some of those dudes in the game. It was so much fun. The minor leagues, to me, was about the hard times, the bus trips, and being part of it with a group. And how do you fight through that to get to the promised land?
Yeah.
Because there was nothing good about the conditions we were playing.
Nope.
Nothing at all.
Nope. Things have changed today.
Oh, there's no doubt.
I'm with you. I feel you on all that stuff.
But I enjoyed it, and stories like that, I'll never forget this dude, Glenn Dooner, kind of showed me the way. And I've doctored up baked beans to this day in aluminum foil out on my gas grill. Might not be the same, but I've done some of the things that he taught me when I was a 19-year-old kid.
Glenn Dooner, if you're watching today or if somebody knows how to get a hold of Glenn Dooner, contact Hot Stove. Let's take a break. When we come back, we have, well, this unbelievable kind of finish line that Jeff Kent has reached as a guy that hit more home runs as a second baseman than anybody else that's ever played the game, yet not in the Hall of Fame. We'll talk about it coming up.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
I know.